Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, but of course, his thoughts are not my thoughts, and his ways
Right.
are not my way. His ways are not my
Right.
ways, and they're much higher than
Right.
In other words, it doesn't.
Well,
God has a nice way of saying, "Okay, you're not that smart. Okay, just
he's got a
relax."
sense. He's got a sense of
Yeah.
humor, and there's a plan. There's a plan in place. I want everybody to understand that there is a plan in place right now for everything that we're talking about, every subject that we have covered so far. Right now, there is a massive godly plan in place. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways, like you just said. And it's going to be a masterful plan. And we're sitting here, and we are the ones that get to watch this unfold. That's the good news.
I tell people every week, I bring terrible stuff in to people, and I say, listen, I just want you to be informed, because if you're informed, you won't be
Right.
fearful. If you're fearful, you'll lose your faith, you lose your ability to make good judgments. That's what the Illuminati wants. They want that, and the Illuminati, these Luciferians, these evil weasels. I mean, we had foreign intelligence services against Donald Trump. That's a fact.
Right.
We had a coup that happened after he got, and before that started as a candidate and president-elect and president. They tried to remove him. They tried to stop him from getting in office. They tried to remove him from office.
Yeah.
And I just want to come up with that. I want to bring up something really quick. I want to talk about this. James Clapper, and I brought this up in my weekly news wrap-up. James Clapper, he is the director of national intelligence under Obama. He came out on CNN. I heard it. I got the tape. I not just got the transcript. I listened to him say it. And
Right.
basically threw Obama under the bus. Actually, he threw him under a giant caterpillar bulldozer is what he threw him
Right.
under.
Well, wasn't one of our shows we talked about, wasn't the headlines talking about the enemies going to turn and devour one another? That was the headline you put on one of our issues.
Yes.
So you're seeing this take place right now. You're seeing literally, biblically, the enemy is turning and they are devouring one another. Wait until Hillary Clinton goes to jail. Watch how many people she rolls over on. So, I mean, again, there is a plan in place. We just have to do our part, which is prayer, stay in prayer, stay engaged in the spiritual warfare, and God will do his part. We have a remnant that's on the scene called the Army of God that's doing its job in prayer and repentance, and you're seeing this stuff come to fruition right now.
And I hope I'm not stepping out of line here because this is a live interview, but I know that some people that you're very close to, and I don't want to name them, when you came out and said Obama's going to go to jail, well, James Clapper, the guy in charge of the entire intelligence community, the director of national intelligence, came out on CNN and said this is all Obama's fault. He told us to do this.
Right.
This is all the way down to the Mueller investigation, which was, we now know the evidence shows, even the redacted evidence just came out, that it was this investigation was started under a false pretense using phony information that was paid for by Hillary Clinton. It's totally false. And
Right,
Clapper
right.
is outing Obama as the guy that did it, that told them to do it.
Right. Well, there's
and now when we go back now, when you said, I think President Obama's going to be ripped and stripped of his presidency and he's going to go to jail.
that was in 2015.
Didn't James Clapper just say it's all his fault? Could you give us your talk about that?
Yeah, well, in 2015, I had it in writing. It said that he would be ripped and stripped of the presidency, basically, and a lot of people thought that meant impeachment, and that's not what that meant. I sensed that it meant that after he was out of office, he would be charged with treason, and he would end up going to prison. Now, that's how you strip a president of presidency, basically, of the title of presidency. And this is not the only thing that's going to come out on this guy, Greg. It's almost like I said years ago when Bill Clinton was in office. The media was covering up for him, just like the media's covering up for Obama, because they're all part of this op, so to speak, this Democratic op. And so they're covering for Obama, and you're not going to find out half of what's going on with Obama until this guy's out of office. So now that he's out of office, we're starting to see all this stuff come to light as to what all he was into. This doesn't even scratch the surface of what's going to come out on this guy. I'm telling you, there's going to be a whole lot more, just like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. There's going to be a whole lot more come out on this guy of what he's been into and what he's been doing.
The pinnacle of his foreign policy was this Iran deal, total fraud.
Right.
C-130's pallets of money flown into Tehran. A total fraud. Nobody signed it. Total fraud. Total fraud.
Yeah, and what blows my mind is, what was that, 120 billion, 140 billion? How much was that?
He had the money that they had sequestered or blocked from Iran was 150 billion. No signatures.
Okay. Yeah. So answer me this: how is it that he can get 150 billion in hard-earned cash to go to Iran, or where it was, and so, but they can't find 25 billion to build a wall.
Yeah. Well, now the Rhino Republicans are selling us out and making.
What's wrong with that picture?
Now that, according to Breitbart, the Rhino Republicans are joined with the Democrats in selling us out and saying, okay, well, we'll give you $5 billion for a wall, but we'll let anybody come in because if they say they're escaping gang violence and they're escaping, which opens up 35 million people up to America. So we'll build a wall, but it doesn't make any difference because anybody can say, oh, I'm being persecuted in Guatemala. I'm sorry, they're gangs, right. MS-13.
Guys, this is not this is not about illegal immigration. This is about an invasion. We're being invaded by a foreign entity, is what this is. So that wall needs to be put in place. Walls are throughout all the Bible, and you got Christians that are up in arms. Oh, this is not Christian-like. These illegal. They're illegal. If you come here legally, you are welcome to come here legally, but there's a process you have to go through. So let me help the Christians understand what this is all about, okay? Because it's very simple. Heaven's got a wall, heaven's got a gate, and it takes extreme vetting to get into heaven. Period. So this is about legal versus illegal. Period.
Yeah, you don't get to do all kinds of crazy things and then sneak into heaven and go, hey, well, I'm an undocumented angel.
No.
I'm an undocumented.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no. It's just yeah. I stole something from a store. I had an undocumented purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid. And I wanted to kind of wrap up with the so this is how you think Obama goes down, and now it looks like he is going to go down. I mean, when you first said he's going to get ripped and stripped for his presidency thing, now his former DNI director of national intelligence, all this is all his fault, which I think right. he's rolling out his defense really basically. So when he gets charged, Clapper, who lied to Congress too, statute of limitations ran out on that. But Clapper, he's outed him. He's saying he's the mastermind.
Right. It was about a month before Donald Trump got elected. The Lord started dealing with me that there would be military-style tribunals that are going to be coming out. And when the Lord starts dealing with you about all this corruption way before the President Trump is even elected, and telling you what's coming. And we're seeing it taking place. And again, I'm not bragging because I don't have a team around me to vet this stuff. Kim Clement, I love Kim Clement. I followed Kim for years. He had a team that was called Code Breakers, that they would break these codes, so to speak, the mysteries inside of these, and they would tell people when this stuff comes to pass. Well, I don't have a team. I'm by myself, so it kind of makes it sound like I'm bragging, but I'm really not. So please forgive me if it does. But, this stuff is coming to pass exactly like what he was talking about, what God was saying, and that is we're going to have these military-style tribunals breakout, so to speak, because somebody had said something on a radio program where, because they had security clearance, it falls under the auspice of DOD, so it would fall under military court versus a civilian court. Now, if that's the case, then that would be your military-style tribunals right there. But all I know is this: is we have over 40,000 indictments right now, and there's no telling how many arrests per indictment. Some may not be any arrests at all. Some may have 10, 12, 13 arrests per indictment. I don't know. So there's no telling how many arrests are going to go down. But when they do, we just need to be prepared, and people just need to be praying that for the president and his family, for their safety, number one, but number two, for the safety of the United States, because they will try and cause civil chaos in this nation. Well, I've been saying this for almost 2 years now, for the Christians to be praying for this, to stop the civil chaos, because you've got people out there who are doing just that, who are trying to start this, especially between the races right now.
Listen, I mean, let's just get real here. I mean, these weasels staged a coup.
Right.
And that's a military op.
Right.
That's not a civilian op. That's a military op that involved our intelligence agencies, and it involved at least the intelligence agencies of the UK.
Another country. Exactly.
Another country.
Right.
These people staged a military-style coup. Why wouldn't there be military-style tribunals? And many people were in on this thing, from the White House to the CIA, to James Clapper, to the State Department, to the FBI, to the DOJ. It's unbelievable how big this thing turned out to be.
Well, just take the 6 people like we were talking about the other day, like James Comey, Clapper, and all these other guys, Strzok. If you just
McCabe,
take... McCabe.
McCabe.
Let's just say you
Brennan.
Let's just say you hand indictments out for those 6 people right there. How many people down the line are going to be implicated or were involved in all of these 6 people to make all this happen? Think about that. It's mind-boggling just for those 6 people.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling. Just Brennan, Clapper, McCabe, Strzok, Comey. It's unbelievable. Lisa Page, although I think she rolled over. It's unbelievable. I mean, Susan Rice, Powers, Valerie Jarrett, Obama, everybody in the White House. They had a Operation Crossfire Hurricane, which Lisa Page and Strzok were talking about how the White House is running this.
Right.
This has never happened in American history.
Well, but this is global too, Greg. We were talking about.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about the UK. When I talked to Liz, I looked at some of her stats. There was 40,000 indictments. There's been 7 ex-presidents globally that have been arrested. There may be even more than that now, because I don't know what the new stats are.
Liz Crokin, right?
So I mean, you've got all this stuff going on nationwide. Look at the Saudi Arabia, the new prince that came in. He pretty much gutted that top government right there. I mean, I don't know how many were arrested, and even some accidentally died. Okay. So, I mean, you're going to see all this stuff globally, man. God has taken this stuff down globally. The Luciferian reign is coming to an end. Now, it could get nasty in some spots. It could even get nasty in a couple of spots in America. So that's why I'm telling people we need to be praying now to alleviate some of this.
But this is a global thing. This is not just America, although America is the leading country in the world. But this is the Luciferian reign. This is over. Time's up. Party's over.
Party's over for this corruption right now. I'll go on record and say this. I don't think there's going to be another Democrat in the White House for a long, long time, if ever again. So, I mean, I know those are strong words. Never say never. But, I mean, the Democratic Party, I believe you're seeing the death of the Democratic Party right now and their philosophy, because you're seeing right now they're moving harder and harder left. Just the pedophilia thing alone. I mean, most of them, are like you said, they were coming out and supporting James Gunn. So, I mean, this people are leaving. What is it? The walkaway movement is called, or something like that.
Yeah.
So the people are leaving it. It's more like a blue tsunami leaving the party and turning to red. So that's why I'm saying this is going to be a red tsunami. They have no clue what they've done. They really don't.
Dude, if you're raping kids and molesting children, I'm not down with that. Poof.
No.
Bye-bye.
No.
I mean, how can you get behind? He just made a mistake. No, you're sick. You need to be in jail. Yeah, I just robbed a bank. I just made a mistake. Yeah, you need to go to jail for that.
And that leads me to one more thing, too, I want to point out, Greg, about this pedophilia thing, is that this is for the churches, okay? There is fixing to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of kids, women, even young men who have been caught in this that are now adults at this point, who are going to be set free. God's going to set them free. You're seeing guys like Craig Sawyer and these guys going in here and pulling these kids out of these satanic cults, these pedophilia rings. This is going on globally, but there's going to be millions of people who are going to need healing. They're going to need love. They're going to need deliverance from this stuff, from these satanic cults, guys. Churches better be ready. They're not prepared for this, Greg. The churches are not prepared for it. They better get prepared for it, because they're going to need some place to go. We got to have some place to send these people. You can't just yank them out of here and then all of a sudden, okay, what do we do with them? See, this has been the problem every time we have a revival in this country. We get people saved, but then they leave and then they don't do anything with them. They don't disciple them. They don't take care of them. So we've got to have some place to send them. So the church, again, better be ready to step up to the plate and handle how many of these victims we're going to have to get them set free, healed, and delivered. Just like we do with the political realm. We better be ready to fill this void. Same thing with Hollywood. When God guts it, we got to be ready to step into this. So there's a lot of stuff coming for the army of God, or the church per se, that they need to get ready for.
That's you know the truth when you hear it. Yeah. Okay, so I want to bring up this book, the Trump Prophecy, but not only is the book turned into a movie. And let me get a full screen here. The Trump Prophecy is going to be a movie. I actually read this book. My wife is actually, when we're on long trips, have read the whole book to me. It's fascinating. The backstory about this, about you being a firefighter, and comparing it to a third world country, and the stuff you saw for 20, I think, couple of decades. but also too that your prophecies, how they came to pass. This is going to come out in early October. Talk about your movie a little bit, will you?
Yeah, it's called the Trump Prophecy Movie. They can go to the TrumpProphecyMovie.com, but the movie's called The Trump Prophecy, and it's about the book. It's about a little bit about my backstory, about a firefighter for 20 years. Then how God gave me the Commander-in-Chief prophecy in 2011, how it led into a national prayer movement, and then how this prayer movement basically helped get Donald Trump elected, especially through the evangelicals right now, helped open the eyes and the ears of people who, their eyes and ears weren't opened at the time. So that's what we're praying that the movie will do, is coming out October 2nd and the 4th. It's a Fathom event, so they can go to fathomevents.com or the TrumpProphecyMovie.com, and they can type in their zip code and see where it's playing. It's a 2-night event. But the other thing I want to point out, too, on this movie, Greg, that I want to hit is that, we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We support them 100%, because I worked with these guys for years, a lot of these guys. And one thing, the news media, that's all you ever hear is military and law enforcement. One of the things that I'm hoping and praying for.
Negative things about military and law enforcement.
Right, but you also hear some good things, like, Donald Trump supports them, and I know he supports our first responders and this, that, and the other. But one of the things I'm praying that this movie does is that it'll bring awareness to the firefighters, because you don't hear a whole lot about our firefighters and the PTSD issues, because the PTSD is now beginning to rival that of the military. The suicide rate is beginning to rival that of the military. So, these guys don't really have a voice, but if I can be a voice and this movie can be a voice for them to help bring awareness to the PTSD and the suicide stuff and help bring healing to these guys, then that's what it's for.
I mean, the stuff that and just so people understand, the stuff that you see are gruesome murders and people fried to a crisp and people, cut up and dismembered in car crashes. It's all the stuff that you guys deal with as first responders.
On a daily basis.
I don't mean to be gross, but I'm trying to. When you talk about PTSD, this is the gruesome stuff that you guys walk up on.
Right.
I mean, you're the first to see it, other than somebody that was involved in the accident.
When people dial 911, it's not to say hello.
Yeah.
It's a life crisis.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to put the link to the book up, folks. I don't get anything for this. I'm having Mark on because I like him, and I think he's smart, and I think he gives good information for you to help you with your life. That's why I have him on. So just that said, I'm going to put this link up for this book. It's a fascinating book. You're not going to cover it all in the movie. There's no way.
No.
But the backstory about your backstory and all the backstories around the thing, you're not going to be able to cover every detail of this in the book. I'm telling people they should get this book. I'm going to put the Amazon link for the book, it's a good read. It's not a huge book, but it's just, so you get your money's worth out of it. Tells it good, so you don't get at the end and go, oh, that's it. You go, oh wow, holy cow. That's what I got to the end of it and said. So anyway, listen, Mark Taylor, thanks for coming on and enlightening us and telling us about some of the prophecies you made a long time ago that are coming true right now. With Russia and the Luciferians and the outing of all these pedophiles and all this evil stuff that's being ejected from not only our country but the world. Mark Taylor, thank you for joining us today. He is, of course, the author of the Trump Prophecies. Mark Taylor, thanks for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com.
Thank you for having me, Greg. It's always a pleasure to be here.